start over is I do this. I say, Lord, please forgive me for my sins. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. It's that easy. This is a place where you can buy, sell, and trade games and game supplies for PS3 and Xbox. Game consoles and things. They also have like a FedEx kind of thing too. You can mail things. It may be UPS. Alright, so we'll be leaving Dunkin' Donuts in this area. It'll be 7.7 miles until we get to the drop-off for your 2 powdered donuts from Dunkin' Donuts. In Pilgrim's Progress, Christian had a wife. Her name was Christiana. I was just thinking of that the other day. Christiana. I was in Pilgrim's Progress. I played both Apollyon one year, and then another time I played Christian. And there's a sequel where Christiana is invited to go to the Celestial City, and she has to go through an adventure to find Christian. And they're reunited in the Celestial City. These cards are interesting, how they're dealt with these cars. Look at this car, how old it is. That's a pretty old car, and it's still running too. Got some pumps in it. It's a pump car. Well, I thought they were pumps. She had kind of a mohawk in the back. Let's see what they do here. It's that scene in Platoon where Elias goes, I do all this way better on my own, or something similar to that. Christopher, I mean, go back to William Dafoe. Sorry, Willem Dafoe. William Dafoe says he's like, I do this very well on my own. You got to see Platoon, Oliver Stone movie. William Dafoe plays Alias, or Alias, I think. There's Elias and Barnes, the two fathers. Yes, drop it up over here. I've seen this before. It's the wrong one. Looking for number 49. I don't see it on that building. Or that side of that building either. I'm having a feeling it's this one right over here. Nope, but close. It's a 45. So 49 could be this one. That's a 44. Probably over here. No, these are only 2 donuts, but as Commander-in-Chief, I'll make sure if you order 2 donuts that you'll get 2 donuts. I'm so sorry. I was gonna leave, but I knew that was wrong whenever I was over there because that's actually saying the 49. So
it's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Have a good one. Oh man, the other one there. I don't know. Anyway, now we're on the next one. All right, so we got the donuts delivered. Thank goodness. Okay, now we're going to go to Beverly Jeans. Oh, I hate when they do this. Okay, I don't know why they do these in apartments like this. But we're going to go to Beverly Jeans and pick up your food and drop it off at your doorstep. I don't know if they have... Yeah, they have an exit one, too. So they have a keypad for the exit as well as the entrance. This is probably how a lot of police officers are going to end up going to prison, because if they continue doing this, they'll be stuck right here. And this is where they'll get them. TBI, Texas Bureau of Investigation. And also another company that works with them is called, it's a company that works within the department, but they'll have to be investigated by TBI, which is Texas Bureau of Investigation. GBI is already out. That's Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The other one would be, thanks, appreciate it. Thank you. Internal Affairs, but it'd be a TBI, Internal Affairs. They'll get them this way. There's a lot of crooked cops. Trust me, there are. We just saw some the other night in New Mexico. They killed a husband and then handcuffed the wife. That's crooked. And the kids called 911 from the back bedroom. That was crime. Those guys might get the death penalty, but they will go to prison for life. The best thing you want to do if you're a police is you do want to turn in the badge and sidearm and find something better, because it's crooked right now. The country's struggling. In 2030, it's going to get worse. You want to turn it in and start over. Go to a church. I actually am doing a vlog. I want to do a vlog about it. But go to a church. Talk to a pastor. Ask them your situation. Tell them what you're in. You know, it's like a war. You're not doing good as a police officer right now. There's too many of them in prison. It's not worth the chance. Why make the mistake with them? Look, one of those 3 officers that fired the shot in New Mexico and Farmington Police Department, one of those guys probably weren't that bad, but they did it anyway because of just how things are. All of a sudden, they're behind a smoking gun, not knowing what to do. I didn't hear any of the cops screaming, but I did hear the wife screaming. That's horrible. As a police officer, you should be ashamed right now with how the country is. And Biden promised reform. We have people being shot in their home that are husbands and family men. It's all over the donut operator. Check out the donut operator on YouTube and see how much crime. You know, he should talk about internal affairs and crooked cops. Oh, all those shows he does and not one crooked cop. You know, he's always on the side of the police officer, but not one crooked cop on any of his shows. Think about that. We know for a fact that there's crooked police because they stand trial. Hoyts-Claw got 266 years in prison. He stood trial. There's many of them that are crooked. We've been redirected to Jason's Deli. At this point, when I got redirected, it's 4.2 miles. I'll be there at 7:33 to place the order, and I'll drop it off at your doorstep. Country was founded on an overthrow of a government. England was supposed to be this country, but it got overthrown, and there was a revolution, and that was the Revolutionary War. This country is founded on revolutionary ideas, so they can overthrow the government and put anybody they want into office. It actually says in the Constitution that we have the right to form our own militia and protect ourselves. It's a warning. The Constitution's a warning that if things get out of hand and there's too much tyranny, then we can overthrow the government and rebuild it. That's what the Constitution says, if you read it. That's what it means by the right to form its own militia. We have the right to form our own militia so that we can get family back into our hands. Now, some of the church is good and some of the church is not. But we can do this. We can rebuild the country from within. It hasn't happened. It almost happened in the 60s. And it almost happened on January 6th, not very long ago. But we can rebuild the country. It can happen. You can rebuild it with this right here. You can use the pen to rebuild it. And they can sign the country over. I'll be your commander-in-chief with a pen. This is what I use to rebuild the country. A pen that's founded on Christian morals from MacArthur Boulevard Baptist. It's a little plastic pen. But we have to do it with the pen, ultimately. We don't need to really rewrite the Constitution, but we do need to establish that it's there. So we need to reprint the actual aspect of it and relook at it. We need to look at the Constitution and say, is this Constitution for real? And if it is, then we can rebuild it that way. It's poetic, but it's always rebuilding itself. It's revolutionary. it can happen. Should be itemized. It'll show the items. Sometimes what y'all do is y'all put it on. Yeah, it's on there. Thank you. These are three seed sea salt crackers. They're pretty good. This Jason's Deli is going to your doorstep. Here is what we have. About 1.3 miles. Be there at 8:02 from Jason's Deli to your doorstep. This is the West 7th Bridge. It's where from now on, well, it's where we filmed The Way of Man. It's a trilogy, so it starts with From Now Until Morning, then The Way of Man, then That Side. It's also among a feature called Once in a Lifetime. It's a series, but we did it as a feature. I did it. It's about over an hour long feature. Then there's three short films. The one starts with From Now Until Morning, The Way of Man, which was shot on that bridge, and then That Side, which was filmed in Irving at a train station, at a dark train station. I'll be there in just a minute. Okay, so 1411, I'm assuming would probably be in this building here. Probably everybody looking for like an elevator or some kind of entrance. Service corridor. So something like that. Yeah, it's a service corridor. Something more like this, like stair unit. Appreciate it. Thanks. 4th floor. Oh, okay. Is there a way to is there a staircase or anything like that?
Oh, no, I have to open it. Which apartment you go?
This is great. Okay. I see. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's a Titanic with cars. This generation's great. Call for it. So people seem to leave kind of stuff on their apartment, or at least in front of their apartment. It's be easier to take the stairs. There's two. Kind of a lonely hole here, and people not so lonely. Anyway, going to Whataburger, and we'll get the mileage before we leave. I'm gonna get in the habit of doing that, and then we'll pick up your food and drop it off at your doorstep. Well, I went in there and talked to some gas station people talking about the delivery show. I thought it was cool, so I'm moving on to the next step and dropping off this Whataburger at your doorstep. So now it's Harmon Dobson. He's the creator of Whataburger. Now they do QR scans on their Whataburger. I'm trying to get the printed receipt with the itemized and the bill number, or the amount of the actual order. All right, there's the Whataburger shakes. We'll be leaving 3.2 miles. We'll get there at 8:56, so the mileage will be 3.2 miles from Whataburger to the drop-off point. I'm currently listening to Wilco, a song called Black Moon, and it fits the moment. One thing I would like to say is to live to live is Christ, to die is gain. And that's in the Bible. All right, we're in a pretty good, well-to-do neighborhood. Thank goodness for that. I'd always say that house right there has a sunroof. And Ridgewood is what we're passing, and we're getting to Crestwood Drive. And I'll be turning on Crestwood. You know, what I always say about ownership of, like, let's say like an HK MP7 is do it with responsibility. There's nothing wrong with having protection, but do it with responsibility, you know? Don't just buy it and shoot a bunch of animals or go hunting with it. Keep it for household protection. It's part of the American First Amendment thing. Well, it's not First Amendment, that's speech. Second Amendment? It's right next to speech. First, you got your speech, then next you got your gun. That's just how Americans are. I don't blame them. They'd have to be that way for this kind of freedom. But still do it responsibly. Don't, like, be careless with it. And keep it semi-automatic at least. Or try to. Pretty nice one. I think that's the cap from the headlight that I forgot to tell him about whenever I was doing the oil change. I think it fell within the vehicle, and it's making noises because they didn't know about it when they did the oil change. So my next oil change, I have to tell them that the cap has fallen in like the center part of the car, because it's not the brake, it's because when I brake this way it doesn't make a sound. So the cap is like spinning in there and making a noise. It's the headlight, back of the headlight cap on the bright headlight on the left. It's only the bright headlight. It has a cap on the back of it. It fell somewhere in the car. It's making kind of a squeaky noise in the front part of the car. So Sean McDonald was an addict, and he was doing marijuana, and he had this kind of miracle moment where he decided to quit all drugs, and he threw all the drugs out of his house. And the next day, the authority figures showed up, and they didn't find anything. He was already going clean. Then he went to the church, and he came to the person where he was like avid of going to the church on his own. And he plays guitar, and he wrote this song called Gravity. He's a Christian. I don't know what movement he's from, but I know he's a Christian. He's from the Christian movement. But God saved his life, because that could have led to horrible things. Stay away from drugs and alcohol, because they're addictive and they're harmful. Stay away from it. Sean McDonald will tell you all about his life. All right, we're headed back. Take care of Kitty. Just pray for Linda. Supposedly she's on her way to Houston. I don't know, but I hope she gets clean, and I hope she quits alcohol. I hope she stops drinking and becomes sober. That's the only way to go. Sobriety and Jesus Christ. You have to have sobriety. So pray for Linda. Another one at Chipotle. I guess we're going to do another one. It's going to be 1.3 miles from this area. It'll take 5 minutes to get there. 9:14 on arrival. So we'll pick up the Chipotle and drop it off at your doorstep. All right. Trying to think of a good time to speak. I don't think right now it's not a good time to speak. I'll let you know in a minute. I don't know. It's too much fiesta. I'm waiting on an order from Chipotle. They're at this light right here, so we'll have to wait. At least it's not loud leaf blowers. My goodness. There it goes, okay. All right, so now I'll give it to you here. Let me turn over to selfie. All right. Okay, I spoke to Linda. She made it to Houston. She's staying with, that's private information, but regardless, she's basically staying with a friend. Okay, so that's what's gonna have to happen for the next few days. I'm hoping that maybe she'll cut back on alcoholism, and I'll cut back on control, and then we'll work it out in the middle somewhere. But remember, marriage is always 100%, 100%. So if something happens, then it's 100%, 100%. And there's always got to be forgiveness in marriage too. You always have to be forgiving in all cases. So she's in Houston. Now, on the other side, with Angel being gone and the kids, that I don't have any information on. But I do know that God loves them. I do know she's connected to the church. So there you are right there. She's connected to the church. I'm trying to get used to talking to the green thing, little green dot. For these two right here. Appreciate it. Just told them how they don't always give the itemized with the amount. So I had to have this printed out, and a couple of people I told about, you know, the show and everything. So we'll be leaving Chipotle and dropping off the burritos and drinks and everything at your doorstep. And it's 3.2 miles. Be there in 9 minutes, about 9:56 p.m. There's a taxi behind us. don't see a lot of taxis anymore. Anyway, I've got a lot of footage for today. So we're gonna kind of consolidate, show the restaurant, show the amount we're going, and show the drop. Those are the three things I'd like to pretty much do. Restaurant title, wherever restaurant we're at, how far we're going, and then the doorstep. Sorry about the Dutch angle. All right, this is a campus drop. So usually we coordinated and they meet outside of their dorm for Chipotle. Yep, just got the message. So usually it's like right around here. All right, so I'm gonna set it like right here where the trunk is. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm still on the 6 foot rule. It'll go like right here. Appreciate it. Thanks. And they're all the way from California. Right, next pickup is Tom Thumb from TCU. It's 3.6 miles. We'll be there at 10:10 arrival time. It'll take 12 minutes. And they're all the way from Missouri. And since I'm doing kind of a show biography too, I lived in those apartments right there, Spanish, and my high school sweetheart, Jennifer Quarles, lived right down there. She's Catholic. She was a Catholic lady. And one day, she'll probably be on her own, just like a nun, doing her artwork, doing concept art, you know, I'm assuming. God never knows, you know. But we went to prom together and everything. I almost missed prom because we were hoping that we'd go state. So our UIL and drama and theater arts, we're trying to get to state. We would have missed prom. And I think if I would have done that, then I think we would have ended up being married. Because we would have went all the way to state. And we went to Austin. She ended up going to Austin and leaving TCU, I think in like 1995 or so. And she cried when she left. But she went to Austin, and then I guess she finished up her degree in Austin, and now she makes concept art. Kind of like moldings. She does casting, so she'll cast art. They're like, she puts a bird on it. Usually it's like a bird on the actual ceramic. I think it's ceramic art. It's craft work. But she sells it too. So it's Jennifer Quarles, and she's on Facebook, and she's on she used to have a website where she sold it. She was my high school sweetheart. We'll be there in a minute, and I'll drop the food at your doorstep. made a movie called Once in a Lifetime. There's also From Now Until Morning, and the second short on it was The Way of Man, and the third was That Side. And we did a feature, or I did a feature, and I put some of them in there, and some of the shorts in the feature, called Once in a Lifetime. And it's a Once in a Lifetime series. It's on this channel. You can go to it. The shorts and Once in a Lifetime star Cole Spivey as Ash Cole, Robert Vasquez as Pastor Rec, and a guy named Corbin Thorpe. He was also one of the editors. He's a guy from the Dallas Art Institute. He plays the writer. But it's kind of a narrative. Well, it is a narrative. It had a script. It has a detailed script. I believe the script is called Once in a Lifetime. And it includes David Byrne. David Byrne's in there. If you don't know, David Byrne got a hold of me. He got a hold of me through Facebook and Messenger, and had this conversation with me when he was doing Utopia. It was called American Utopia. And he came through Dallas and wanted me to go to the concert. I'm not lying about this at all. He called his band The Clark. I don't know what that meant. But he said someone was trying to mess with his Clark, is what he said. I don't know what that meant. So I don't know if he was talking about his band. But this is when I got the idea to write Once in a Lifetime. At the time, I was buying a house. I was trying to buy a house. And he got a hold of me and had this conversation. Well, I flipped out and made a lot of screenshots of the actual conversation, like 2 or 3 of them. And I sent that up to Facebook. And then I went back to Facebook Messenger. And the conversation just said unauthorized. And you couldn't read the conversation anymore. I don't know if David Byrne did that or not. But I asked him some questions. He said, someone's trying to mess with my Clark. I had no idea what he was talking about. It's a true story. It was David Byrne. And I went back, and it was like David Byrne's site. So I thought maybe it was someone impersonating David Byrne, but it was actually his official Facebook page. It's a true story. So I wrote Once in a Lifetime, or I constructed Once in a Lifetime. I typed it up. It's like almost a couple of 100 pages. It was all based kind of around that. It was also about an Uber driver trying to hold down his family and stuff, and he's kind of crazy and stuff. He flips out and it gets all real kind of racist and all kind of nutty, just like the world is. You know, the world kind of starts to take him, and then he finds his way out of it, and he keeps a gun like in the bushes alongside the road, and then he finally shoots the gun at the sky, the scene in it. But I don't know if I'm going to use guns in any of my movies. I don't like them. But anyway, it's true. And then I found out about Perfume Guinness, or Perfume Genius, who has his own band. And he was touring with David Byrne on the American Utopia tour. It's a true story. Anyway, I got to keep these short, but I never got in touch with David Byrne. And the story, the Uber driver takes him to the concert, picks him up at the airport and takes him to one of his concerts. And the actual story, Once in a Lifetime. It's a true story.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
It's based on true events. I know about the railroad crossing ways. We know about the railroad crossing. David Byrne made a movie called True Stories. If you ever want to watch that, they show it on YouTube. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, you know, the weirdest things happen in life. How he got a hold of me, I have no earthly idea. I was living in Irving, and it just popped up on Messenger. It was David Byrne, just like talking about American Utopia tour. I wanted to go to that tour. I wanted to see him. I'm a big Perfume Genius fan too. How do you say his name? Perfume Genius? Anyway, I wanted to go and see all of that, you know, but you know, it's like $70 or $100, you know. So in the story, he fantasizes and he picks him up at the airport, and it's like, oh, it's David Byrne, look, and he's all talking, but it's not like conversational stuff. It's like very heightened drama. We're picking up some stuff at Tom Thumb, and he goes to like the green room and talks to David Byrne. He represents like the devil. David Byrne's like the devil character, like the Apollyon character in Pilgrim's Progress. So he talks to him about his concerts and the stuff his life is, you know, because I have a band and I play music, and you know, it's like the ultimate hero to meet David Byrne. You know, like, wow, it's David Byrne, you know. This is the guy that came up with Psycho Killer and came up with the Talking Heads, you know, or at least the lead singer. And I just thought it was a good script. If you want it, David Byrne, I'll send it to you, or Perfume Genis, or anybody that wants the script. I can send it, or you can ask for it through comments, and I can email it to you. I can send it to an email for you. You can use like a temporary email or whatever. Or I can just, you know, maybe I'll vlog it sometime. I vlog my scripts. It's kind of, there's a big emotional moment where he has a breakdown and he gets very anti-Semitic, and I think it's important because people do that. People get anti-Semitic at times, and the guy has a breakdown and blames a certain nation for all his problems, which I don't think is right. But it does happen. That's why I wanted to include it in the movie or in the screenplay. It's pretty good. I think all my scripts are good. I haven't seen one of them that are bad. I gotta pick up some groceries at Tom Thumb and drop it off at your doorstep. Kitty, kitty.